everybody. My name is Randy Preluck. I am the Associate Dean for Undergraduate Programs here in the Lubin School of Business. I'd like to welcome you to our program. We have a wonderful opportunity for you today to learn about all of the different majors we have in the management department. So if you already know what you want to major in, that's fantastic. You'll get to hear about some of the details of that. If you don't know, that's okay too. This is a good chance for you to see what we have to offer you here in the Lubin School of Business. After we hear from our faculty, we're going to take you through a mock class so you can see what it's like to be a student here at PACE with Professor Bruce Backenheimer in our entrepreneurship program. So without further ado, I'm going to be turning over the program to Professor Chris Ramos, who is our Director of the Arts and Entertainment Management Program. And he's going to tell you a little bit about what that's involving. Chris?
Thank you, Randy. My name is Chris Ramos, Clinical Associate Professor for Arts and Entertainment Management Department, as well as I'm the Director. To give you a quick rundown of my background, before moving into the academic world, I was very much involved in the world of performing arts, specifically dance theater. As a performer, choreographer, director, business manager of running a dance company, that was definitely an experience in itself. Originally from Hawaii, I moved here in 1989. That was more than 30 years ago, and I've lived here ever since. Currently involved with New York City Arts Education Roundtable, and as well as a board member for Battery Dance Company. New York City is home for more than 700 performing arts companies, as well as big media and entertainment companies. It's also the home for Broadway, right? In Lubin School of Business, if you are so inclined to attend our schools, Lubin Arts and Entertainment Management Program prepares you to really respond to the economic crisis, the environment internally and externally, the strong business core that you will develop, both soft skills and technical skills, ranging from accounting to marketing, business law, besides focusing on some of the arts and entertainment management course that you will be taking, either in the music, performing arts, or television. Those skills actually help develop the students and find opportunities in looking and finding opportunities in terms of internship and volunteerism. Students have interned for Sony Music, Warner Music, SNL, MTV, and among other things. 3 major group organizations in terms of student activities. We have the Industry Network. These are the group of students focusing really in putting together events and conferences. They learn how to manage, the plan, lead, and control the event itself. PACE Music Group. This is a unique one because, needless to say, we have students in our program that's very talented, that really can sing. So the group actually acts as a talent management company for these students. They find opportunities for them within PACE University and outside as well. And the third group, which is something that's new, called the Collective. And these are the students who are passionate about the theater, passionate about the dance. And what they're going to do and intend to do is actually give lessons and showcase the works that they're going to do. To sum it all up, the creative industry is booming. It may be down right now, but it always comes back. It generates billions of dollars in terms of economic situation. And in the world of showbiz, as they say, there's no business like show business. And now I'm going to pass it on to Professor Julia Eisenberg, who's going to talk about HR management program. Julia?
Thank you so much. Welcome, everyone. I'm very excited to be here to speak with you. I'm an assistant professor in the management department, and I'm the program chair for the HR programs, or human resource management. I'd like to tell you a little bit about myself. Prior to joining academia, I worked on Wall Street for about a decade. And I can tell you from personal experience, having worked in large companies, that you really rely a lot on your human resource management partners. They guide you through all kinds of situations, and an organization really can't be successful without a strong HR department. Through that, I've seen how fundamental it is to have HR specialists across a number of areas. And so at PACE, we prepare you to have the skills and the knowledge to deal with challenges such as globalization, right? Companies are now offshoring some of the work. So how can a company best organize their human resources to collaborate with people that work abroad? What is the best fit for an employee? How do we review their performance and provide critical feedback to make sure that they perform at the best level that they can? We also talk about some very cutting edge issues such as artificial intelligence, right? How does that impact human resource management field, and other issues that come up and some of the trends that will affect the human resource management field. There are actually very positive trends. So if we look at career growth opportunities, employment for HR managers is actually projected to grow above the average for other occupations, if we look at the Bureau of Labor Statistics. We have wonderful career services here, and there are a number of opportunities for our students for internships as well as full-time employment. So we listed some companies here that some of our graduates have gone on to, some of the areas and companies that our graduates have gone on to work in. We also have a number of opportunities for you. For example, I've included a picture of a student that I've been working with, Khadija Shah. She is a very passionate young lady, and she's started an HR club. In fact, she recruited some other people or some other students that are interested, and together they are in the process of forming this club. So should you decide that this is an area you're interested in, you will have a front row seat to essentially going from the very beginning and joining potentially, if this is something you're interested in, the executive board of this new club. You know, we've had some brainstorming sessions already, and they're very excited. So there are lots of opportunities for you to do something that you might find of interest. So what I'd like to do at this point is pass it on to my colleague, Professor Andrew Coggins, who's going to talk to you about the hospitality and tourism management.
Thank you, Julia. Good afternoon. Welcome to the world of hospitality and tourism management. My name is Andrew Coggins. I'm a clinical professor. My background is I've been teaching hospitality and tourism management for close to 25 years. I've taught at Virginia Tech. I've also taught at University of Macau and the Chinese University of Hong Kong before coming to PACE. Thank you very much for picking PACE, and especially for picking Lubin. The world of hospitality and tourism management, we are the world's second largest industry right now. We're in a challenging time, so this is a great time to come into the industry as an industry redefines itself and recovers over the next 4 years. My background for teaching in the industry is also that I'm a retired Navy surface warfare officer, or in other words, a ship driver, so I have a strong background in the cruise industry on the technical side and through study. We offer the program both in Pleasantville and in New York, but it's mostly in New York. It's a 9-course major or a 5-course minor. And again, the industry is a major economic contributor in New York City and Westchester County. Why do I like the industry? Why do I love the industry that I'm in? Is because you work every day with people who love what they do. And also working in hospitality and with people, each day is different. never the same thing day to day. We have courses in hotel management, meetings and convention management, restaurant management. We have one of the few courses in cruise industry management worldwide. And we have courses in travel and tourism management and service management. We also offer a travel course to Brazil with Professor Green. We have a number of students that have put together HATA, Hospitality and Tourism Association, a student club, and they hold job fairs, and they also bring in alums to speak and other industry people to speak to our students. We are, like I said, an industry that we work when people are having fun. We help people have fun and enjoy themselves. So I would like to pass it over to Professor Richardson, who will talk to you about international management. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Coggins, and welcome everybody. My name is Professor Richardson, and I'm an Associate Professor of Management here at PACE, and also the Undergraduate Program Chair for the Management Department. So if you choose to come to PACE and choose one of these great concentrations we have to offer, I hope that I get to meet you and work with you over your 4 years to make sure you have the courses that are of most interest to you. But today I want to tell you more about our international management concentration. If you're interested in working abroad or working in the US for a major international company, then international management might be a great choice for you. You can learn business and language skills to succeed in the global marketplace. This concentration is actually really unique because it's very customizable. First off, you select one of 3 different regions, international regions, on which to focus your studies. So that can be Europe, Asia, or Latin America. And you'll become an expert on the varied national economies, in that particular region, as well as take additional language and culture courses in that area to really understand the people and the history. But in addition to your regional concentration, you will also further customize your degree by choosing a specific career concentration within international management. And you'll take at least 6 or more credits in that particular area. So it's of your choosing. You can choose entrepreneurship, finance, hospitality and tourism, arts and entertainment, or human resource management. So it could be one of our other management concentrations or something else, even like economics. It's really very flexible and kind of, choose your own path towards customizing your degree. Lastly, you'll also have the opportunity, some great opportunities to study abroad during your time at PACE. And this, of course, you can do whether you're an international management major or not. You can choose to study abroad for a semester or even a full year. There are still a few students who go abroad for a full year. And we have a wonderful study abroad office that really helps the students and serves as a resource. You can go to, really virtually any country that you'd like to go to, and they will help you with the application process from start to finish, your time over there and coming back and making sure that you get the right, classes to advance your degree. But if going away for a whole semester seems a little too daunting for you, we also have some wonderful field study opportunities that Professor Coggins, mentioned one of them, studying in Brazil. We have programs that go to China, India, United Kingdom, Belgium. And these are shorter programs where you actually sort of take a semester-long class with a smaller group of students, and then you and those students, along with 1 or 2 professors, go over for about 10 days to the country to have a more immersive experience. So just wanted to give you a little bit more background in that. And now I'd like to pass it along to Professor Janice Winch, who'll talk about data analytics.
Thank you, Professor Richardson. Hello, my name is Janice Winch. I'm the director of the Business Analytics program at PACE. First, I want to say something about business analytics area in general, then I'll talk about the particular program at PACE. About the major, it's Business analytics is a really promising major for landing a good job right out of college. Our world, as you know, is driven by data. So what's the news about the COVID-19 pandemic? I mean, how do you know? How do we know when it's a good time to reopen our businesses? Well, this decision is based on data. For example, was there a steady decline in hospitalizations over the last 14-day period? Do we have at least 30% extra hospital beds, and so on? And for those of you who are into music, question like, how does Spotify know which songs to recommend? That is, which songs to put on your Discover Weekly list? Well, it looks at the data of the songs you have listened to and liked. In general, all these companies are collecting huge amount of data every day, and they're looking for people who could use the data to increase revenue for them or lower costs for them. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the projected job growth over the next 10 years in analytics is 14%, much higher than the average. Now you might ask, okay, well, it seems like business analytics is a good major, but why PACE? Why would I want to go to PACE for business analytics when there are other schools that offer the program? Well, let me tell you a couple of things. First, at PACE, you get more of what the employers are looking for. We teach students all the popular technologies that are in demand, and students are trained in the whole range of analytics techniques. So if you go online and compare the PACE curriculum to other school programs in the area, you will definitely see that difference. In our program, students learn how to use Python to scrape the data from the web and perform data mining. And they can use SQL to pull the data they need from the company databases and use Excel to report on things like which products in the company are doing better. And they could also use Tableau to make color-coded pretty maps based on the data. They could use R to predict which of your customers are likely to buy your next new product. They also learn not just to predict, but to build models that would actually tell you what is your best course of action? What is the best decision? So for example, how to allocate your hard-earned cash to get the most out of your investment, or how to allocate advertising dollars to maximize your company's sales. There are algorithms that will actually tell you what to do that you're going to learn at PACE. Now you might be concerned, well, wait, do I have to know how to code to be in this major? Well, actually, the majority of our students have no coding experience before coming to PACE, before starting the program. You're going to learn how to code in our program at PACE. So so you learn how to code, so of course you have to work hard in a relatively challenging major, but if you work hard, you'll get there. And secondly, we have competitions where our students participate, where they get to apply what they learned in class to real life data, real world problems. We run Kaggle competitions in our class. Well, Kaggle is a very popular platform for online data analytics competitions where people could win money or job interviews. In fact, Netflix ran a competition there some time ago, and with a $1 million prize to help improve their recommendation algorithm. Also, we have company-sponsored competitions. For example, we have annual competition sponsored by Group M. Group M is a global marketing analytics group. Students have landed internships and job offers from these competitions. And third, we have an active student organization, PACE Chapter of Informs, that will help you network with industry professionals. In fact, I am in the executive board of the New York chapter of Informs, which is for analytics professionals in the New York area. So through this organization, we host panels of prominent industry people at PACE. So students from other universities come to PACE to meet these speakers. So with a business analytics degree, you could go to any industry you want. Everybody needs you. So you could see on the list and on the right, we have now there are a lot of financial services companies in the area. So a lot of students, a lot of graduates end up going to such companies like JP Morgan Chase, Goldman Sachs, and Morgan Stanley. Usually they start in some kind of analyst position. We also had graduates who have started in the data science positions, for instance, at Guardian Life Insurance. And we have graduates working at Madison Square Garden, analyzing trend in ticket sales. and then also alumni working at Delta Airlines, Moody's, and United Health. And some have started their own consulting businesses. And now I'll be happy to answer any questions you might have later, but for now, I will pass it on to Professor Bruce Bockenheimer, the Executive Director of the Entrepreneurship Program. Thanks.
Thank you, Janice. And just before I start my presentation, if you'd like to take a picture of this screen, it'll provide you with the contact information from the people you heard of. So I imagine you're going to whip out your mobile phone and take a picture, and I will share my presentation now. So my name is Bruce Bockenheimer. I'm a clinical professor of management and the executive director of the Entrepreneurship Lab. Today, I'm going to talk about entrepreneurship broadly. I want to stress that, to me, entrepreneurship is a mindset, a way of thinking and acting. At its core, it's really about imagining new ways to solve problems and provide benefits, and thereby creating value. So for today's session, I'm going to give what I guess would be considered a short seminar, kind of what you might have the first day of an entrepreneurship class. It'll be about 20 minutes. And throughout the presentation, I'll be asking questions, and I would ask you to put your responses in the Zoom chat. This is meant to be interactive, informative, and hopefully to a degree fun. So what I'm going to start with is just to show how important an entrepreneurial mindset is, or entrepreneurial thinking. I put up a list as close to 1,000 brands. This is all exactly the same product, one that you're very familiar with, and one that has, they've all gone bankrupt. They're all made in the US, all gone bankrupt over the last 100 years. In fact, there's only one company left that hasn't gone bankrupt. So if you would put in the chat session what you believe this industry or this product is. Again, these are all brands of exactly the same product. All have gone bankrupt. And again, there's only one company left that makes these that hasn't gone bankrupt in the US. Some A's, some B's, some C's. I don't see any responses. Some D's. Zippers, that's a good guess. D's, E's. Let's have another guess. I like zippers. I just replaced a zipper on a boat. No idea. Some F's, some G's, some H's, some I's, some J's, some K's, some L's, some M's, O, P. I don't have anything yet. Again, all a product that you're all very familiar with. I'm sure you've seen them today. S, T, U, V, W. Shoes, good guess. Very good guess, actually. W, X, Y, Z. Well, as a hint, here is what they used to stick on the front of these products to identify them. Does that help anybody? Yes, congratulations. They are cars. I took this picture when I was visiting the Smithsonian, the National Museum of American History, and was surprised that, just over 100 years ago, there was more than 300 car companies in America, all of which have gone bankrupt except for Ford. So this is in a very traditional industry, but let's look at what's going on today that I'm sure all of you are very familiar with. Uber, the world's largest taxi company, owns no vehicles. Facebook, the world's most popular media owner, creates no content. Alibaba, the most valuable retailer, has no inventory. And Airbnb, the world's largest accommodations provider, owns no real estate. That's some stuff going on. And to show you why companies like the automobile companies may go bankrupt, this is an article I thought was interesting. BRW is an Australian publication. But it's in 1975, this Kodak employee invented the digital camera. His bosses made him hide it. Steve Sasson had graduated RPI in 1973, went to work for Kodak. Anybody want to guess why his bosses wanted him to hide the digital camera? Well, they were afraid of new technology. Now, as you know, Kodak went bankrupt. Interestingly, they did patent the digital camera, and they earned billions in fees, licensing fees, for it over the 2 decades of the patents. But when that wore off, they went bankrupt. So if we are thinking of starting a company, and again, starting a company is only one area of entrepreneurship. I want to talk a lot about an entrepreneurial mindset, no matter what you do. But let's look at these top 5 success factors. Is it access to funding, the team you could assemble and how you are able to execute, the idea itself, the business model, or timing? And sometimes another word for timing is luck. Does anybody want to guess what the #1 success factor is? According to researchers at TED Talk on this, I could put a link in from the founder of Idea Lab. Timing. Oh, we got a bright group. Timing. I would not have guessed timing. I would have guessed, the team, the people, and the ability to execute. But in fact, it is timing. So great. Again, that TED Talk, if you Google Bill Gross on TED Talks, you can see the whole talk. And he talks a lot about, Uber and Airbnb being founded during the 2008 financial recession. How about this? We got a bright group, so I really do hope all of you come to PACE in September. Does anybody know who Theodore and Audrey Geisel are? Somebody has to know, because when I hit the next slide, anybody, I'm going to count, I'll give you 3 seconds. Anybody know Theodore and Audrey Geisel? 1 100, 2 100, 3 100. Well, usually someone knows when I say congratulations. Congratulations, today is your day. You're off to great places. You're off and away. You have brains in your head. You have feet in your shoes. You can steer yourself any direction you choose. You're on your own and you know what you know, and you are the guy who will decide where to go. So it's from Dr. Seuss, and to me, this is a book my daughter asked me to read, and maybe I see entrepreneurship in everything, but those lines, you have brains in your head, you have feet in your shoes. To me, that means if you have some intelligence, brains in your head, and you have some motivation, feet in your shoes, you could steer yourself any direction you choose. You could do, what you want. And to me, this is instilling that entrepreneurial mindset at a very early age. Okay, more interactive, fun feedback session. What do these people have in common? This is in alphabetical order. Sergey Brin, Jeff Bezos, Bill Gates, Larry Page, Jimmy Wales, and Mark Zuckerberg. So type away. All right, I'll tell you what, I'll give you a hint. They actually all went to the same school. Some of them did drop out of school. Bill Gates and Mark Zuckerberg dropped out of Harvard, but Jeff Bezos graduated summa cum laude from PU, Princeton University, and Sergey and Larry both dropped out of the Stanford PhD program, but they had both done master's degrees, one in Michigan and one in Maryland. They all are entrepreneurs. How about the school they went to? This is also, they credit the school, they all went to the same school, and they credit that school with their success as entrepreneurs and innovators. And that school was the Montessori school. So again, if you think back from the Dr. Seuss, at a very early age, and a Montessori school where you learn by doing, they don't break you down in classes. It's peer-to-peer learning. These are all things that help them do what they eventually did in founding these amazing companies. All right, how about this? I'm assuming my video is on because I don't see it. So if somebody says, yes, your video is on, that would be helpful. Well, I guess maybe my audio is not on. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Madam C.J. Walker. Does anybody know who Madam C.J. Walker is? Someone does know. What did she do? Here's a hint. She lived from 1867 to a house with a historic placard. Yes, it's a new Netflix movie. So I read the historic plaque and I was surprised. And one thing I like, is she said, I got my start by giving myself a start. She, in fact, is the first self-made American woman billionaire. She was a daughter of former slaves, orphaned at age 7. And she said, if I've accomplished anything in life, it's because I've been willing to work hard. You may know her from the Netflix movie or otherwise as creating a hair care product for African-American women when she worked as a launderer with these very harsh chemicals. They were so bad her hair would fall out. She invented that, but what she really invented was multi-level marketing. And if you want more information, you could go to madamcjwalker.com. So let's do a problem. So I'll read this. I have to move some stuff around. Deborah Adler, a graphic design student who grew up in a family of doctors in Chappaqua. I actually happen to be doing this Zoom from Chappaqua where I live, recognized a problem when her grandmother accidentally swallowed pills meant for her grandfather. According to a poll conducted by Target, 60% of prescription drug users have taken medication incorrectly. The pharmacy pill bottle has remained virtually unchanged since its inception, since it was first introduced just after World War II. The only change was in the 70s, a child safety cap. So here we are in America, the most innovative and entrepreneurial country, and we have a pill bottle that hasn't changed. So your job in this session is to say, is there an opportunity here? Do you see any problems with the medicine pill bottle we all use? And somebody says, just tell me, is there an opportunity? Is there any problems here? You know, wherever there's a problem, there's an opportunity or a crisis. Right, okay, good. The words are too small. Good, and the type is too small, and you're gonna see that. Anything else? And does anybody know why they're just these little amber cylinders? Yep, the bottle color, so it's hard to tell them apart. So right, they're all the same. Why? Because that's the way we've always done it. If we had more time, I'd tell you a funny story about that. But yes, the tiny type, as was said, the curved shape is hard to read, inconsistent labeling, confusing instructions, detailed information is on a separate piece of paper. They have the same color, so how could grandma and grandpa tell them apart? So let me ask you this, from a new product development point, what should a pill bottle look like? How about this? I'm going to start with a simple question. Where should you put the cap on a pill bottle? Now, my mic didn't cut out. I'm just waiting for it. On the top, on the bottom. Yes, we got a top and a bottom. How about this? So this is what Deborah came up with. You'll see that it's a flat face. You'll see that the labeling on type is very clear. It stands up on the base, so if you're older and arthritic, it's easier to open. And see that little yellow ring at the bottom? instead of asking for a different color bottle, that would be very hard to stock so many different bottles, you could just ask for a different color ring, like blue for grandpa and yellow for grandma. Good. So that was her thesis project for her MFA, Master of Fine Arts at the SVA School of Visual Arts. And Target snapped up her patent, gave her a lot of money for it, hired her as a consultant. And that bottle, the Clearax bottle, is included in the Museum of Modern Art exhibit, the MoMA exhibit. Now, we talk about entrepreneurship and an entrepreneurial mindset. From the first slide, we saw how an industry as seemingly stable as automobiles, have all gone bankrupt. The reason it's important to have this kind of entrepreneurial mindset is because even if you do something that you think is incredibly safe, like coding, this is an article from the New York Times, congratulations, you've been fired. Even if you, master a great coding language, there's this concept of a digital sweatshop. Getting fired equals graduation, and they use the sports analogy of VORP, or value over a replacement player. That's from the New York Times a few years ago. So that entrepreneurial mindset is something that should serve you well no matter what you do, whether you go into government, nonprofit, accounting, finance, teaching, etc. And a slide that I'd like to conclude with is this concept, this Japanese concept of Ikigai. So I actually went to school in Japan as an undergraduate, read, write, and speak Japanese, worked for the Bank of Tokyo, worked for the Japanese National Police. And Japan is probably the most unentrepreneurial country I know, or society, but I really love this concept of Ikigai, or a reason for being. So you'll hear a lot when you talk about entrepreneurship, your passion, follow your passion, find your passion, that's what you love. But you also have to be good at it. Like, I may be passionate about music, but I can't play an instrument or read notes to save my life. So it has to be something you're good at. So, if you're good at it, and you love it, that's great, but is it something the world needs? Now, there's a lot of things the world need, but, in the end, you have to be paid for it. So if in this Venn diagram, you could find where, what you love and what you're good at, what the world needs and what you could be paid for, is a great place to be, and that will change for your life. Kind of introducing myself at the end, I actually started on Wall Street back in the 80s as a trader and invented arbitrage when the PC first came out. Wall Street was good to me. I bought a sailboat, went sailing for 5 years, wound up down in Venezuela and sailing to South America. I came back, started a company called Annapolis Maritime Corp, importing teak lumber and doing woodworking. I then got recruited by a government contractor to do criminal justice and counterterrorism program in 24 countries. When that concluded, I wound up getting a scholarship from McKinsey to do graduate work in Australia during the dot-com days, and started a company called Stock Central that we were offered over $1 million for within a year. The dot-com bubble burst. I came back to New York, worked for a VC for a while, was involved in the New York City entrepreneurial community as the chairman of the MIT Enterprise Forum of New York City, and sat on the global board up at MIT in Cambridge. And, all the thing, what my passion was, what I'm good at, what you could be paid for, changed quite a few times in my life. And the thing that I've done the longest, that I'm the absolute most passionate about, has been teaching. And I've been at Pace for 18 years, and hope to see you guys. And I'm happy to talk about our program if there's questions. I wanted to limit this to 20 minutes, and we're at 19 minutes and 14 seconds. If you'd like more information about our entrepreneurship, you can go to elab.nyc. That's ELAB.nyc for New York City. Or for me, if you could spell my last name, you can go to Backenheimer.com. If you can't spell that, you could just Google Forbes Man of Mystery. And with that, I'm going to turn it back to Professor Randy Preluck.
Thank you so much, Bruce, man of mystery. Appreciate the course. That's something like what a course would be if you were to come to Pace University. A lot of our faculty today talked about the different majors that you could pursue in the management department. I want to let you know that the Lubin School of Business is here to support you in your career and your profession. We have a very large career services department with over 42 people working to help you. We have connections with companies in the area because we have 78,000 alums who live and work in New York City or the area. And they come back to campus, they do projects with students, and they hire our students for jobs in their companies. And we work with a lot of Fortune 1000 firms for students to get careers going. The other thing that we do here in Lubin that's very special is our Lubin PACE Path program. In your sophomore year, you'll take a course called Professional Planning and Practice for Internships and Careers. And in that course, you'll be guided in developing a career plan. You will also learn how to do a resume and interviewing so that you can set off on your career and achieve your goals. After you take that course, you then do 2 professional experiences, so you actually get experiences working in your industry. And our faculty and staff help you do that. So the Lubin PACE Path is our signature program for our undergraduate students. We also give you a mentor in your sophomore year. And I should also mention that on our Pleasantville campus, we have a number of student-run businesses that you can work in, earn money, and also learn how to manage or do accounting and finance or marketing if those are your areas of interest. As I said, I'm the Associate Dean for Undergraduate Programs. Please feel free to write me an email at rpreluck@pace.edu if you have any further questions, and I can also send you to the right person to answer those questions or answer them myself. It's been wonderful sharing the afternoon with you for a bit. I hope to see you all in the fall, and I look forward to meeting you. Thank you so much for attending our management department event. I wish you all the best. Have a wonderful summer. Thank you very much.